Hello and welcome to another NPC recreation video with me, Meoni, for Final Fantasy XIV. These videos are some of my favourite things to do, if I'm completely honest with you. It's nice to just try and recreate things in front of you and see how close you can actually physically get before the limitations of character design and developer design cross over. So one of the most interesting stories in Shadowbringers for me was that of Sliverbow and the Raktika Greatwood Zone in general, but a character that stands out to me is of course the Hrothgar Runar. Runar was a character I was not really that sure about early on, unfortunately, but as Shadowbringers went on with each patch, he grew on me as time went by, and I think a lot of people might have been like that as well. I mean, you might be someone who loves Runar to death, but some of us didn't, immediately like that. The scene with Y'shtola and him, without spoiling anything, is frankly one of the most precious things I've seen on screen. And yes, I'm incredibly jealous of Runar for that reason. So here we are then in character creation. Let's make a Hrothgar to do Runar justice. So to start off, Runar is a Hrothgar of the Lost Tribe. So getting his skin right was something I failed at, to be perfectly honest with you, but you can thank the preview window here for basically giving me a false sense of colour. The problem is the in-game colour of skin is very different than the preview window in character creation. It's one of the things that I've really hated throughout this entire recreation process, and the more you realise how different colours are depending on light, and also the preview window sort of dumbs things down a little bit or accentuates them regardless of what preview area you put it in, because you can change where you are previewing your character. I thought it was a little more grey than it actually is in the game, and actually Runar is a lot whiter skinned than he is grey, but on the preview window it doesn't look right white, so I chose incorrectly, but it was kind of too late to spend another Fantasia to fix this, so on screen I've listed the refined numbers for the sliders that you'd need to follow to get him even more accurate, but obviously in this video he's going to be slightly off, sadly. That's something I would change. I think I managed to get close to Runar, but there are small differences, I think you'll agree, and if I had Fantasia'd again, I would certainly fix the hair colour as well, but that was pretty difficult to match, again thanks to the preview window. And I don't think I did a bad job the first go. So next then, let's have a look in-game at the Glamour. So Runar is actually a caster in-game and uses a variant of the Revel Keeper's casting set that we cannot physically get that version of, sadly. But the version players can get is kinda cool. People use it a fair amount, I've seen it on a lot of people, because it comes with 3 tattoos. You don't actually want this in this particular instance, but ordinarily these look really good. But yes, Runar's version doesn't have the white tattoos on the arms or the elbows or the actual back as well, which is unfortunate and looks a little bit messy, as you can probably see, but it's as close as we can physically get. So we actually have the helm hidden, as Runar does, and then we have the Revel Keeper's casting chest, the gloves and the feet from those particular set, and those are all drops from the Katana Revel dungeon at level 75 and above. You can do this with trusts if you'd rather, if you want all of the loot for yourself, or find 3 friends to actually queue and run this through repeatedly. Of course, you cannot unsync it currently because it's Shadowbringers content, but in another expansion's time, this would be completely unsyncable. So yes, and you unlock that dungeon, of course, through the Shadowbringers storyline in Raktika Greatwood. The gear then itself is dyed soot black to match Runar's garb, so it's actually really basic to get a hold of, and it all comes down to the character design in particular this time. Usually it's sort of like a 50-50 mix between having the right look as well as a glamour, but here it's mostly the character creation that really tells who this is actually supposed to be. Ways I could probably improve this include obviously the colour of the skin, perhaps the fur adjustments as well in terms of their colour. Definitely a thought of a weapon would be quite nice to go with this. in that regard. I'd probably think of the Revel weapons themselves, but I'm not too sure. I wouldn't want it to be too flashy for Runar. Probably quite basic looking, but sort of maybe with runes on it. Either way, that's Runar, or at least my best attempt at recreating him. Basic but very fun. I love making these videos, at least at the very least. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, and if you have any ideas for what I should attempt to do next in these recreation videos, let me know in the comments below, and definitely I'll go and throw a Fantasia at it and give it a go. As usual, much love, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.